Keir Starmer must move the conversation about child sexual exploitation away from sensationalism to support victims who have seen their support and protections slashed in recent years, charities, campaigners and experts have said. A joint statement, signed by parties including government service contractors such as the Salvation Army and the Snowdrop Project, said changes to the law had made it harder for survivors to be recognised as victims and access support services. Their intervention comes after Home Secretary Yvette Cooper announced an urgent national review to the scale of grooming gangs and a raft of other measures to tackle them. The move follows growing pressure on the government to act, since the issue was raised by billionaire Elon Musk on his social media platform. Ex-ministers have denied they would not have acted if Musk had not spoken out. The statement, signed by more than 60 charities, law firms and academics, including the Survivors Trust and Hope Not Hate, will be shared with Starmer, but is aimed at politicians of all stripes. The Post reads, "We are calling on those in the public eye to help us redirect the national conversation and action towards the needs of victims and survivors of child sexual exploitation." Child sexual exploitation is recognized as a form of modern slavery and child abuse. Yet child protection and services have been cut, while some support systems have been dismantled through laws that restrict survivors' access to help. If we do one thing, it must be to identify children at risk and win the trust of victims who are afraid to speak up. Yet the UK is failing. Child victims and survivors, including victims of non-recent childhood exploitation, face a higher threshold of evidence before they can be recognised or receive support than they did 2 years ago. According to After Exploitation, which led the joint statement, 43% of recorded child victims of sexual exploitation in the UK are foreign nationals, and the statement states that survivors and perpetrators of modern slavery can come from any nationality, gender, age or background. Criticising the politicisation of the speech, Professor Alexis J., who chairs the independent inquiry into child sexual exploitation, lamented this month that there was little mention of the horrific and lasting impacts that child sexual abuse can have on people. On Friday, Lisa Nandy defended the government's decision to act, denying that it had been forced to do so by Musk's intervention. "I absolutely reject that," the Culture Secretary told Sky News when asked about the billionaire's interest in the scandal. "We are not a government governed by social media. We introduced the Child Welfare Bill a few weeks ago. It was legislation that we introduced quite early on, before any noise we saw on social media.